The Law of Polarity, written and published by Cloudy Library. Feel free to subscribe for more content. Now, let's get into the book. Introduction. At the core of our universe lies a fundamental principle that governs all aspects of existence, the law of polarity. This ancient and universal law states that every phenomenon, concept, or experience has an opposite or complementary aspect. From the subatomic particles that make up the physical world to the complex dynamics of human relationships, the interplay of opposites is a ubiquitous and undeniable reality. Whether we recognize it or not, the law of polarity shapes our everyday lives in profound ways. Light and dark, hot and cold, good and evil. These familiar dualities are merely the tip of the iceberg. The principle of duality extends far beyond the physical realm, manifesting in our thoughts, emotions, and the very fabric of our reality. Understanding and embracing the law of polarity is essential for achieving balance, harmony, and personal growth. By recognizing the inherent interconnectedness of opposites, we can learn to navigate the ebb and flow of life with greater ease and clarity. Instead of viewing the world in absolutes, we can cultivate a more flexible, nuanced perspective that allows us to transcend the limiting constraints of polarity. In this book, we will embark on a transformative journey to explore the depth and breadth of the law of polarity. We will delve into the principle of duality, examining how it underpins the natural world and human experience. We will then investigate the intricate interplay of opposing forces, learning how to harness their power for personal and professional fulfillment. Ultimately, we will uncover techniques for transcending polarity altogether, tapping into a state of unity and wholeness that can catalyze profound personal growth and spiritual awakening. By the end of this exploration, you will possess a comprehensive understanding of the law of polarity and the tools to apply it in every facet of your life. Whether you are seeking to improve your relationships, enhance your career, or deepen your spiritual practice, the insights and strategies presented in this book will serve as a powerful roadmap. Prepare to challenge your preconceptions, expand your consciousness, and unlock new levels of harmony, balance, and fulfillment. The law of polarity is not just an abstract principle. It is a living, breathing force that shapes our reality. Join us as we uncover the secrets of this universal law and unlock its transformative potential. Chapter 1. The Principle of Duality. At the heart of the law of polarity lies the fundamental principle of duality, the recognition that every phenomenon, concept, or experience has an opposite or complementary aspect. This underlying truth is woven into the very fabric of our universe, manifesting across all realms of existence, from the tangible physical world to the intangible realms of consciousness and spirituality. To truly grasp the law of polarity, we must first delve deep into this principle of duality, exploring its manifestations and implications in various aspects of life. The concept of duality has been recognized and explored by philosophers, spiritual leaders, and scientists throughout human history. From ancient Eastern philosophies to modern quantum physics, the idea that reality is composed of pairs of opposites has persisted and evolved. This enduring concept speaks to its fundamental nature and its power to explain and illuminate the world around us. One of the most iconic representations of duality is the ancient Chinese symbol of yin and yang. This simple yet profound image depicts two swirling halves, one black and one white, each containing a small circle of the opposite color. The yin-yang symbol elegantly captures several key aspects of duality. First, it shows that opposites are not separate entities, but rather two parts of a whole, intimately connected and interdependent. Second, the small circles within each half represent the idea that within each extreme lies the seed of its opposite. Finally, the flowing, dynamic shape of the symbol suggests the constant movement and interchange between these complementary forces. The yin-yang concept extends far beyond a mere visual representation. In traditional Chinese philosophy, yin and yang represent fundamental opposing but complementary forces in the universe. Yin is associated with qualities such as darkness, passivity, femininity, and the earth, while yang is linked to light, activity, masculinity, and the heavens. These forces are not seen as static or absolute, but as constantly shifting and balancing each other. This understanding of duality provides a framework for interpreting and navigating the complexities of existence, from natural phenomena to human behavior and health. Moving beyond Eastern philosophy, we find that the principle of duality manifests in numerous ways throughout the natural world. Consider the basic building blocks of matter, protons and electrons, with their positive and negative charges. These opposing forces are fundamental to the structure of atoms and, by extension, all physical matter. Similarly, in the realm of genetics, we have the complementary base pairs of DNA, adenine with thymine, and cytosine with guanine. These pairings form the basis of genetic information and life itself. On a larger scale, we observe duality in the cycles and rhythms of nature. Day and night, the waxing and waning of the moon, the changing seasons, all exemplify the interplay of opposing forces. The cycle of life and death, growth and decay, is another profound manifestation of this principle. In ecosystems, we see the delicate balance between predator and prey, between competition and cooperation. Even in the vast expanse of the cosmos, we find duality at work in the form of matter and antimatter, or in the expansion and contraction of the universe itself. The principle of duality extends into the realm of human experience and psychology as well. Our emotional lives are characterized by pairs of opposing feelings: joy and sorrow, love and hate, courage and fear. The interplay between these emotions shapes our inner landscape and our interactions with the world. Similarly, our cognitive processes often involve a dance between opposing modes of thought: logic and intuition, analysis and synthesis, focus and open awareness. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, explored this concept through his theory of the collective unconscious and archetypes. He posited that the human psyche contains inherent opposing forces, such as the persona, our public face, and the shadow, our hidden, often negative aspects. Jung believed that psychological health and growth come from recognizing and integrating these opposing aspects of ourselves, rather than suppressing or denying them. In the social and cultural sphere, we encounter duality in numerous forms. The concepts of good and evil, right and wrong, form the basis of moral and ethical systems across cultures. Political ideologies often align along opposing axes, such as liberal and conservative, or individualism and collectivism. Even in the arts, we find duality at play. In the contrast between light and shadow in visual art, the interplay of consonance and dissonance in music, or the tension between characters in literature. The principle of duality also manifests in the realm of human relationships. The dynamics between individuals often involve a balance of opposing needs and desires. For example, the need for independence versus the desire for connection, or the balance between giving and receiving. In romantic relationships, we often seek partners who complement our own qualities, embodying strengths where we have weaknesses and vice versa. This natural inclination towards balance reflects the underlying principle of duality at work in our social interactions. It's crucial to note that while the principle of duality highlights opposites, it does not imply that these opposites are always in conflict or mutually exclusive. Rather, it suggests that they are interconnected and often interdependent. This understanding can lead to a more nuanced and holistic view of the world, moving beyond simplistic binary thinking. For instance, consider the apparent opposition between competition and cooperation. While these may seem like conflicting approaches, in reality, many successful systems incorporate both. Ecosystems thrive on a balance of competition for resources and cooperation within species. In business, companies may fiercely compete in the marketplace while also cooperating on industry standards or shared challenges. Understanding the duality allows us to see how these seemingly opposed forces can coexist and even enhance each other. The principle of duality also has profound implications for personal growth and development. Recognizing that we all contain opposing aspects within ourselves can lead to greater self-acceptance and integration. Instead of trying to eliminate our perceived negative qualities, we can learn to balance and harmonize them with their opposites. For example, someone who tends towards excessive caution might work on developing their capacity for spontaneity, not to replace caution entirely, but to achieve a more balanced approach to life. Moreover, understanding duality can help us navigate challenges and conflicts more effectively. When faced with a difficult situation, Recognizing that it likely contains both positive and negative aspects can open up new perspectives and solutions. This approach can be particularly valuable in conflict resolution, where acknowledging the validity of opposing viewpoints can lead to more constructive dialogue and compromise. In the realm of creativity and innovation, the principle of duality plays a crucial role. Many breakthrough ideas come from the synthesis of seemingly opposing concepts or approaches. The ability to hold and reconcile contradictory ideas, what F. Scott Fitzgerald called the test of a first-rate intelligence, is often key to creative problem-solving and innovation. By embracing duality, we can tap into a richer, more nuanced understanding of the world, leading to more creative and effective solutions. As we delve deeper into the law of polarity in subsequent chapters, we will build upon this fundamental understanding of duality. We'll explore how these opposing forces interact and balance each other, how we can harness this knowledge for personal and professional growth, and ultimately, how we might transcend the limitations of dualistic thinking altogether. The principle of duality, far from being an abstract philosophical concept, is a living, dynamic force that shapes our reality on every level. By recognizing and embracing this fundamental aspect of existence, we open ourselves to a more profound understanding of the world and our place within it. This awareness serves as the foundation for navigating the complexities of life with greater wisdom, balance, and effectiveness. Chapter 2. The Interplay of Opposites. Having established the principle of duality in the previous chapter, we now turn our attention to the dynamic interplay between opposites. This intricate dance of opposing forces is not merely a theoretical concept but a vital, living process that shapes our reality on every level. Understanding this interplay is crucial for harnessing the power of the law of polarity in our personal and professional lives. The interplay of opposites is perhaps most easily observed in the natural world. Consider the cycle of day and night. As the Earth rotates, we experience the gradual transition from darkness to light and back again. This is not a sudden switch but a fluid process, with dawn and dusk serving as liminal spaces where day and night intermingle. This transition period often brings a unique energy and beauty, highlighting the creative potential that exists at the intersection of opposites. Similarly, the changing seasons demonstrate a more extended interplay of opposing forces. The cold, dormant winter gradually gives way to the renewal of spring, which in turn blossoms into the abundance of summer, before the cycle begins to wind down with the harvest and decline of autumn. Each season contains the seed of the next, and the continuous cycle ensures the balance and sustainability of life on Earth. This natural interplay extends to the realm of weather and climate. The interaction between high and low pressure systems drives our weather patterns. The balance between evaporation and precipitation maintains the water cycle. Even extreme weather events like hurricanes or tornadoes result from the dramatic interplay of opposing forces in our atmosphere. On a cosmic scale, the interplay of opposites manifests in the fundamental forces of the universe. Gravity, which pulls matter together, is counterbalanced by the expansive force driving the universe apart, often referred to as dark energy. The delicate balance between these opposing forces has shaped the evolution of our universe and continues to influence its future. Zooming in to the subatomic level, we find a similar dance of opposites. In quantum physics, particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, superposition, until they are observed or measured. This quantum interplay between potential states challenges our classical understanding of reality and highlights the fundamental role of duality and interplay at the most basic level of existence. Moving from the physical world to the realm of human experience, we find the interplay of opposites deeply embedded in our psychological and emotional lives. Joy and sorrow, love and hate, confidence and doubt. These opposing emotions do not exist in isolation, but in a constant state of flux and interaction. Our emotional well-being often depends on our ability to navigate this interplay effectively. Consider the experience of grief following the loss of a loved one. While predominantly characterized by sadness, grief often involves moments of joy as we remember happy times shared with the departed. These conflicting emotions interplay in a complex process that ultimately leads to healing and acceptance. Recognizing and allowing space for this interplay, rather than trying to force a single emotional state, is key to processing grief in a healthy manner. In the realm of personal growth and development, the interplay of opposites plays a crucial role. Growth often occurs at the edge of our comfort zone, where we encounter the tension between the familiar and the unknown. By leaning into this tension and allowing ourselves to experience both the discomfort of challenge and the excitement of potential, we create opportunities for significant personal evolution. This principle is evident in physical training as well. The process of building strength or endurance involves pushing our bodies to their limits, creating micro-damage in our muscles, which then repair and grow stronger. The interplay between stress and recovery, between breaking down and building up, is fundamental to physical improvement. In our cognitive processes, we constantly navigate the interplay between different modes of thinking. The analytical, logical left brain and the intuitive, creative right brain work in tandem to process information and solve problems. Effective thinking often involves oscillating between focused, detailed analysis and broader, more associative thinking. Recognizing and leveraging this interplay can significantly enhance our problem-solving abilities and creative output. The interplay of opposites is also a driving force in social dynamics and relationships. In any relationship, be it personal or professional, there is a constant balancing act between different needs and desires. The need for independence interplays with the desire for connection. The drive for personal achievement balances against the need for collaboration and teamwork. Healthy relationships often involve a dynamic give and take, where partners or team members alternate between leading and supporting roles. This fluidity allows for a more balanced and resilient relationship dynamic. Recognizing this interplay can help us navigate relationships more effectively, understanding that periods of closeness and distance, agreement and conflict, are all part of the natural rhythm of human interaction. In the business world, the interplay of opposites manifests in numerous ways. Companies must balance short-term profitability with long-term sustainability, innovation with stability, risk-taking with prudence. Successful businesses often excel at navigating these seeming contradictions, finding ways to pursue seemingly opposing goals simultaneously. For instance, some of the most innovative companies maintain a careful balance between fostering creativity and maintaining operational discipline. They create spaces for free thinking and experimentation, while also implementing rigorous processes for execution and delivery. This ability to hold and leverage opposing forces is often a key differentiator in competitive markets. The interplay of opposites is also evident in effective leadership. Great leaders often embody seemingly contradictory qualities. They are confident yet humble, decisive yet open to input, visionary yet pragmatic. The ability to adapt one's leadership style to the needs of the situation, drawing on different and sometimes opposing qualities, is a hallmark of exceptional leadership. In the realm of politics and governance, the interplay of opposites is a fundamental dynamic. Democratic systems are built on the idea of balancing different viewpoints and interests. The tension between individual rights and collective responsibilities, between change and stability, between different ideological perspectives, drives the political process. While this can sometimes lead to conflict, it also creates a system of checks and balances that can foster more robust and inclusive governance. Even in the world of art and creativity, the interplay of opposites is a powerful force. Artists often work with contrasts, light and shadow, sound and silence, movement and stillness. The tension and harmony between these opposing elements create depth, interest, and emotional resonance in artwork. Many great works of art and literature explore the complexity of human experience by juxtaposing opposing themes or characters. In music, the interplay between consonance and dissonance creates emotional depth and interest. In visual art, the use of complementary colors, opposites on the color wheel, can create vibrant, eye-catching compositions. In literature, conflict, often arising from the clash of opposing forces or viewpoints, is a fundamental driver of narrative. The interplay of opposites also has profound implications for our approach to problem-solving and innovation. Many breakthrough solutions come from synthesizing seemingly contradictory ideas or approaches. The ability to hold and work with opposing viewpoints or methodologies often leads to more comprehensive and innovative solutions. For example, the development of sustainable technologies often involves balancing opposing needs, such as economic viability and environmental protection. By embracing this tension rather than seeing it as an either/or proposition, innovators have developed solutions that address both concerns, leading to advancements that are both economically sound and environmentally responsible. In the field of conflict resolution, understanding the interplay of opposites is crucial. Effective mediators recognize that conflicts often arise from the tension between opposing needs or viewpoints. Rather than trying to eliminate this tension, skilled negotiators work to find solutions that address the underlying needs of both parties, often leading to more sustainable resolutions. On a personal level, embracing the interplay of opposites can lead to greater resilience and adaptability. By recognizing that life naturally oscillates between different states, success and failure, happiness and sadness, certainty and doubt, we can develop a more balanced and accepting approach to our experiences. This doesn't mean passively accepting whatever comes our way, but rather understanding that these fluctuations are a natural part of life and that we have the capacity to navigate them. Mindfulness and meditation practices often work with this principle, encouraging practitioners to observe the coming and going of thoughts and emotions without becoming overly attached to any particular state. This approach can lead to greater emotional regulation and a more balanced perspective on life's ups and downs. The interplay of opposites also has implications for our understanding of personal identity. Rather than seeing ourselves as fixed entities with unchanging characteristics, we can recognize the multifaceted nature of our personalities. We all have the capacity for kindness and cruelty, courage and fear, wisdom and foolishness. By acknowledging and integrating these opposing aspects of ourselves, we can develop a more holistic and authentic sense of self. As we navigate the complex interplay of opposites in our lives, it's important to remember that the goal is not to eliminate one side of the equation in favor of the other. Rather, the key lies in finding a dynamic balance, recognizing that both sides have value, and that true wisdom often lies in the ability to navigate between them fluidly. The Law of Polarity, with its emphasis on the interplay of opposites, offers a powerful framework for understanding and navigating the complexities of existence. By recognizing and working with this fundamental dynamic, we can develop greater resilience, creativity, and effectiveness in all areas of life. As we continue to explore this principle in the following chapters, we will delve deeper into practical strategies for harnessing its power and ultimately transcending the limitations of dualistic thinking. Chapter 3. Transcending Polarity. Having explored the principle of duality and the intricate interplay of opposites, we now turn our attention to a more profound aspect of the law of polarity, the possibility of transcending these apparent dichotomies altogether. This concept of moving beyond polarity represents a significant leap in consciousness and has been a central tenet of many spiritual and philosophical traditions throughout history. Transcending polarity does not mean denying or ignoring the existence of opposites. Rather, it involves recognizing a higher level of reality where these apparent contradictions are reconciled and integrated into a greater whole. This state of awareness allows us to navigate life's complexities with greater wisdom, compassion, and effectiveness. The journey towards transcending polarity often begins with the recognition that our perception of reality is largely shaped by our conditioned minds. From an early age, we are taught to categorize and label our experiences, creating mental constructs that divide the world into discrete, often opposing categories. This dualistic thinking, while useful for navigating the practical aspects of life, can also limit our understanding and create unnecessary conflict. Eastern philosophical traditions, particularly Buddhism and Advaita Vedanta, have long emphasized the importance of moving beyond dualistic thinking. The Buddhist concept of non-duality, or not two, Advaya in Sanskrit, points to a state of consciousness where the apparent separation between subject and object, self and other, dissolves. Similarly, the Advaita Vedanta tradition speaks of non-dualism, asserting that the ultimate reality, Brahman, is one without a second, and that the perception of multiplicity is an illusion, Maya. In the Taoist tradition, the concept of Wu Wei or non-doing embodies this transcendent perspective. Wu Wei doesn't mean literal inaction, but rather action that arises naturally and spontaneously when one is in harmony with the Tao, the underlying principle of the universe. This state is characterized by a lack of forcing or striving, and a deep acceptance of the natural flow of events. While these Eastern concepts might seem esoteric or abstract, they point to a very real and practical shift in perception that can have profound implications for our daily lives. When we begin to loosen our rigid categorizations and see the interconnectedness of all things, we open ourselves to new possibilities and solutions that were previously hidden from view. One way to understand this transcendent perspective is through the metaphor of a hologram. In a hologram, each part contains information about the whole. Similarly, at a deeper level of reality, each apparent opposite contains elements of its counterpart. Just as the yin-yang symbol shows a spot of white in the black half and vice versa, we can learn to perceive the interconnectedness of all things, seeing how apparent opposites are really part of a larger, unified whole. This holographic view of reality is not just a philosophical concept, but is increasingly supported by findings in modern physics. The holographic principle in string theory suggests that the information contained in a volume of space can be described by a theory that operates on its boundary. This mind-bending concept challenges our conventional understanding of reality and points to a more interconnected universe than we typically perceive. Quantum physics also offers insights that align with this transcendent perspective. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where particles can be connected in such a way that the state of one instantly influences the other, regardless of the distance between them, suggests a level of interconnectedness that defies our classical understanding of reality. The observer effect in quantum mechanics, where the act of observation influences the observed phenomenon, blurs the line between subject and object, challenging our notion of an objective, separate reality. These scientific insights, while not directly proving spiritual or philosophical concepts, do suggest that our everyday perception of a world of separate, distinct entities might be a limited view of a much more interconnected reality. As we open ourselves to this broader perspective, we can begin to transcend the limitations of dualistic thinking. In practical terms, transcending polarity often involves developing a witness consciousness, the ability to observe our thoughts, emotions, and experiences without becoming completely identified with them. This practice of mindful awareness allows us to step back from our habitual reactions and see situations from a broader, more inclusive perspective. Meditation is one of the most powerful tools for cultivating this witness consciousness. Through regular meditation practice, we can learn to observe the constant flux of thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. This creates a space between stimulus and response, allowing for more conscious, balanced choices rather than automatic reactions based on conditioned patterns. As we develop this capacity for mindful awareness, we may begin to notice how our mind habitually creates and reinforces polarities. We might observe, for instance, how quickly we label experiences as good or bad, desirable or undesirable. By simply noticing this process without judgment, we can start to loosen the grip of these mental categorizations. Another powerful practice for transcending polarity is the cultivation of equanimity, the ability to meet all experiences with a sense of balance and non-reactivity. Equanimity doesn't mean indifference or apathy, but rather a deep acceptance of what is, combined with a willingness to engage with life fully. This quality allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with greater grace and resilience. The practice of loving kindness or meta-meditation can be particularly effective in cultivating equanimity. This practice involves deliberately generating feelings of goodwill and compassion, first towards oneself, then towards loved ones, neutral individuals, difficult people, and finally all beings. By extending loving kindness to all, regardless of our usual categorizations, we begin to transcend the polarities of like and dislike, friend and enemy. As we work to transcend polarity in our inner lives, we may find that this shift in perspective naturally extends to our interactions with others and our approach to social issues. Instead of seeing conflicts in terms of right and wrong, good guys and bad guys, we can begin to perceive the complex web of causes and conditions that give rise to any situation. This more nuanced view doesn't mean we become passive in the face of injustice or stop working towards positive change. Rather, it allows us to engage with challenging situations from a place of greater wisdom and compassion. We can work towards solutions that take into account the needs and perspectives of all parties involved, rather than simply trying to defeat or suppress one side. In the realm of personal relationships, transcending polarity can lead to more harmonious and fulfilling connections. Instead of getting caught in cycles of blame and defensiveness, We can learn to see conflicts as opportunities for growth and deeper understanding. By recognizing that we all contain multitudes, the capacity for both kindness and cruelty, wisdom and foolishness, we can develop greater empathy and acceptance, both for ourselves and others. This transcendent perspective can be particularly powerful in healing deep-seated conflicts, whether personal or societal. The practice of Ho'oponopono, a Hawaiian reconciliation and forgiveness process, embodies this approach. It involves recognizing our fundamental interconnectedness and taking responsibility for our part in any conflict, even if we can't see a direct causal link. This practice can lead to profound healing and the resolution of seemingly intractable conflicts. In the professional sphere, transcending polarity can lead to more innovative problem-solving and effective leadership. Instead of getting stuck in either slash or thinking, we can cultivate the ability to hold multiple, sometimes contradictory perspectives simultaneously. This allows for more creative solutions that integrate diverse viewpoints and needs. For example, a leader faced with the need to cut costs while also improving employee satisfaction might typically see these as opposing goals. However, by transcending this polarity, they might discover innovative solutions that achieve both objectives simultaneously, such as implementing flexible work arrangements that reduce office costs while improving work-life balance. The ability to transcend polarity is also crucial in fields like diplomacy and conflict resolution. Skilled negotiators know that lasting solutions often come not from one side defeating the other, but from finding a higher-level integration that addresses the underlying needs and concerns of all parties. This approach requires the ability to see beyond surface-level oppositions to the deeper, shared interests that often underlie conflicts. In the realm of personal development and self-actualization, transcending polarity opens up new possibilities for growth and transformation. Many of our internal conflicts and limitations stem from rigid self-concepts and beliefs about what we can or cannot do. By recognizing the fluidity and multidimensionality of our nature, we can break free from these self-imposed constraints. For instance, someone who sees themselves as not creative might begin to recognize that creativity and logic are not mutually exclusive, but can in fact enhance each other. This shift in perspective can open up new avenues for self-expression and problem-solving that were previously hidden from view. It's important to note that transcending polarity is not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing process. Even as we cultivate a more inclusive, non-dual awareness, we will still need to navigate the practical realities of a world that often operates on dualistic principles. The key is to develop the flexibility to move between these different levels of awareness as needed. This fluidity of perspective allows us to engage fully with the relative world of form and distinction, while also maintaining a connection to the underlying unity of all things. We can play our roles in the world drama with full commitment, while simultaneously recognizing the ultimately illusory nature of these separations. As we progress on this path of transcending polarity, we may experience moments of profound insight or awakening, where the usual boundaries of self and other, inner and outer, dissolve. These experiences, while often fleeting, can provide a taste of a higher level of consciousness and serve as powerful motivators for continued practice and exploration. However, it's crucial not to become attached to these experiences or to use them as a means of spiritual bypassing, avoiding dealing with practical realities or personal issues. The goal is not to escape the world of duality, but to engage with it more fully and effectively from a place of greater awareness and integration. Ultimately, transcending polarity is about expanding our capacity to embrace the fullness of life in all its complexity and contradiction. It's about developing the wisdom to discern when to make distinctions and when to perceive unity, when to act decisively, and when to allow things to unfold naturally. As we cultivate this expanded awareness, we may find that life becomes both simpler and richer. Simpler in that we're less caught up in unnecessary conflicts and complications born of rigid dualistic thinking. Richer in that we're able to appreciate the incredible diversity and interconnectedness of all things, and our own boundless potential as conscious, creative beings. The journey of transcending polarity is a lifelong one, filled with challenges and rewards. It invites us to continually question our assumptions, expand our perspective, and open our hearts to the vast mystery of existence. As we progress on this path, we become more effective agents of positive change in the world, able to navigate complexity with grace and wisdom, and to foster greater harmony and understanding in all areas of life. Chapter 4. Applying the Law of Polarity. Having explored the principle of duality, the interplay of opposites, and the transcendence of polarity, we now turn our attention to the practical application of these concepts in our daily lives. The law of polarity is not merely a philosophical construct, but a powerful tool for personal growth, improved relationships, enhanced creativity, and more effective problem-solving. In this chapter, we will delve into specific strategies and techniques for harnessing the power of this universal law across various aspects of life. One of the most immediate and impactful ways to apply the law of polarity is in the realm of personal development. By recognizing that every trait or quality has its opposite, we can work towards achieving a more balanced and integrated personality. For instance, if you identify yourself as primarily introverted, you might explore and develop your extroverted side. This doesn't mean changing who you fundamentally are, but rather expanding your range of behaviors and responses to different situations. A practical exercise for this is to identify an area of your life where you feel stuck or limited. Once you've identified this area, consider its polar opposite. If you struggle with being too rigid and controlling, for example, the opposite might be flexibility and surrender. The goal isn't to swing to the other extreme, but to find a middle ground that incorporates elements of both poles. You might start by practicing small acts of letting go in low-stakes situations, gradually building your comfort with flexibility while maintaining a healthy sense of structure and control where necessary. In the realm of emotional intelligence, understanding the law of polarity can be transformative. Often, we try to suppress or avoid negative emotions, seeing them as undesirable. However, by recognizing that every emotion has its place and purpose, we can develop a more accepting and balanced emotional life. Instead of trying to always be happy, for instance, we can learn to appreciate the full spectrum of human emotion, recognizing that sadness, anger, and fear all have important roles to play in our psychological well-being. A practical technique for working with emotions through the lens of polarity is the practice of embracing the opposite. When you find yourself overwhelmed by a particular emotion, take a moment to consciously evoke its opposite. If you're feeling anxious, for example, try to recall a time when you felt completely safe and secure. Hold both the anxiety and the sense of security in your awareness simultaneously. This practice can help to create a sense of emotional balance and perspective, reducing the intensity of overwhelming feelings without denying or suppressing them. In relationships, the law of polarity offers valuable insights for improving communication and understanding. Often, conflicts arise when we perceive our needs or desires as fundamentally opposed to those of others. By recognizing the interconnected nature of apparent opposites, we can find creative solutions that address everyone's needs. For example, in a romantic relationship, one partner might value independence while the other craves closeness. Instead of seeing these as irreconcilable differences, we can explore how independence and closeness can actually support and enhance each other. Practical steps might include setting aside dedicated time for individual pursuits as well as shared activities, or finding ways to maintain individual identities within the context of a committed relationship. A powerful exercise for applying this in relationships is the practice of polarized listening. When engaged in a disagreement, make a conscious effort to fully hear and understand the other person's perspective before expressing your own. Then, try to articulate their point of view as clearly and fairly as you can, even if you disagree with it. This practice can help to break down the illusion of separation and create a space for more collaborative problem-solving. In the professional realm, the law of polarity can be applied to enhance leadership skills and improve decision-making processes. Effective leaders often embody seemingly contradictory qualities. They are both confident and humble, visionary and pragmatic, decisive and open to input. By consciously cultivating these polar qualities, leaders can develop a more flexible and adaptive leadership style. A practical exercise for developing leadership skills through polarity is the Opposite Day Challenge. Choose a day to consciously embody the opposite of your usual leadership style. If you're typically very directive, spend a day focusing on listening and facilitating. If you tend to be more collaborative, practice being more decisive and assertive. The goal isn't to permanently change your style, but to expand your range and flexibility as a leader. In problem-solving and innovation, the law of polarity can be leveraged to break through creative blocks and generate novel solutions. Often, we get stuck in particular ways of thinking about a problem, unable to see alternative perspectives. By consciously exploring the polar opposite of our current approach, we can open up new avenues of thought and creativity. A technique for applying this is the reverse brainstorming method. Instead of trying to solve a problem directly, start by listing all the ways you could make the problem worse. Once you have this list, reverse each item to generate potential solutions. For example, if you're trying to improve customer satisfaction, you might first brainstorm ways to make customers unhappy. This counterintuitive approach can help to break habitual thinking patterns and lead to innovative solutions. In the realm of health and wellness, the law of polarity reminds us of the importance of balance. Many health issues arise from extremes, whether it's overwork leading to burnout or a sedentary lifestyle leading to physical decline. By consciously working with opposites, we can create more sustainable health practices. A practical application of this principle is the concept of active recovery and fitness. Instead of swinging between intense exercise and complete rest, active recovery involves engaging in lighter, complementary activities on rest days. This might involve gentle yoga after a day of strength training or a leisurely walk after an intense cardio session. This balanced approach can lead to better overall fitness results and reduced risk of injury. In our approach to learning and personal growth, the law of polarity encourages us to embrace both structure and flexibility. While having a clear plan and consistent habits is important for progress, being too rigid can lead to stagnation. On the other hand, being too unstructured can result in a lack of meaningful progress. A practical strategy for balancing these opposites is the planned spontaneity approach. Set aside regular time in your schedule for unplanned activities or exploration. This might involve blocking out an hour each week to learn about a random topic that catches your interest, or setting aside a day each month for a spontaneous adventure. This approach allows for both consistent progress towards your goals and the flexibility to explore new interests and opportunities. In our relationship with technology and the digital world, the law of polarity can help us find a healthier balance. While technology offers incredible benefits and opportunities for connection, it can also lead to feelings of overwhelm and disconnection from the physical world. Instead of viewing this as an either/or situation, we can work towards integrating the benefits of technology with the importance of unplugged, present-moment experiences. A practical technique for this is the tech Sabbath, choosing a regular time period, such as one day a week or one weekend a month, to completely disconnect from digital devices. During this time, focus on physical activities, face-to-face interactions, and connection with nature. This practice can help to reset our relationship with technology and cultivate a more balanced approach to our digital lives. In our approach to social and political issues, the law of polarity can help us move beyond simplistic, adversarial thinking towards more nuanced and inclusive solutions. Often, social debates are framed in terms of rigid opposites, liberal versus conservative, tradition versus progress, individual rights versus collective responsibility. By recognizing the interconnected nature of these apparent opposites, we can work towards more holistic and effective approaches to societal challenges. A practical exercise for applying this principle is the Steelman technique in debates or discussions. Instead of looking for flaws in opposing viewpoints, the strawman approach, make a sincere effort to articulate the strongest possible version of the opposing argument. This practice can lead to a deeper understanding of complex issues and open up possibilities for collaborative solutions. In our spiritual or philosophical practices, the law of polarity reminds us of the dynamic interplay between form and formlessness, the relative and the absolute. While it's important to have structured practices and clear beliefs, it's equally important to remain open to mystery and the unknown. This balance allows for both grounded, practical spirituality and the possibility of transcendent experiences. A practical approach to embodying this balance is the practice of contemplative inquiry. This involves holding a question or topic in mind during meditation without actively trying to figure out an answer. The goal is to create a space where insights can arise naturally, balancing focused intention with open receptivity. This practice can lead to deeper understanding and unexpected insights, while also cultivating comfort with uncertainty and not knowing. In our relationship with the natural world, the law of polarity can help us recognize our simultaneous separateness from and unity with nature. While we are distinct individuals with our own agency, we are also inextricably part of the larger web of life. Recognizing this polarity can lead to a more balanced and sustainable approach to environmental issues. A practical way to embody this understanding is through the practice of reciprocal restoration. This involves actively participating in the restoration of natural ecosystems, not just as outside agents, but as integral parts of the system. This might involve joining local conservation efforts, participating in regenerative agriculture projects, or simply spending time tending to a garden or green space in your community. Through these activities, we can experience both our ability to positively impact nature and our fundamental interconnectedness with it. In our creative endeavors, whether artistic, scientific, or entrepreneurial, the law of polarity reminds us of the importance of balancing structure and chaos, planning and spontaneity, tradition and innovation. Often, breakthrough ideas come from the synthesis of seemingly opposing concepts or approaches. A practical technique for applying this in creative work is the constraint/freedom exercise. Set a very specific constraint for your creative project. It could be a time limit, a restricted color palette, a particular form or structure to follow. Within this constraint, allow yourself complete freedom of expression. This balance of limitation and liberty can often spark unexpected creativity and lead to innovative outcomes. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, the law of polarity offers a powerful framework for achieving balance, fostering growth, and transcending limiting perspectives. By recognizing the interconnected nature of apparent opposites, we can move beyond rigid, either/or thinking towards a more nuanced and inclusive worldview. The key to effectively applying the law of polarity lies in cultivating awareness, flexibility, and a willingness to embrace paradox. It involves developing the capacity to hold multiple, sometimes contradictory perspectives simultaneously, and to move fluidly between different modes of being as the situation requires. This doesn't mean abandoning all distinctions or living in a state of perpetual ambiguity. Rather, it's about developing the wisdom to discern when to make clear distinctions and when to perceive underlying unity, when to stand firm in our convictions, and when to remain open to alternative viewpoints. As we continue to explore and apply the law of polarity in our lives, we may find that our experience of reality becomes both simpler and richer. Simpler in that we're less caught up in unnecessary conflicts and complications born of rigid dualistic thinking. Richer in that we're able to appreciate the full spectrum of human experience and the intricate web of relationships that make up our world. Ultimately, the law of polarity invites us into a more expansive and inclusive way of being. It challenges us to continually question our assumptions, expand our perspectives, and open our hearts to the vast complexity and interconnectedness of existence. As we embrace this principle, we become more effective, compassionate, and fulfilled individuals, better equipped to navigate the challenges and opportunities of our rapidly changing world. Throughout this exploration of the law of polarity, we have journeyed from the fundamental principle of duality to the intricate interplay of opposites, the transcendence of polarities, and the practical application of these concepts in our daily lives. This universal law, far from being an abstract philosophical concept, reveals itself as a powerful tool for understanding and navigating the complexities of existence. We began by recognizing that duality is woven into the very fabric of our reality, manifesting in countless ways from the subatomic to the cosmic scale. This recognition serves as the foundation for a more nuanced and holistic worldview, one that acknowledges the interdependence and complementary nature of apparent opposites. As we delve deeper, we explored how these opposing forces engage in a dynamic dance, constantly shifting and balancing each other. This understanding of the interplay of opposites offers valuable insights for personal growth, relationship dynamics, and effective problem-solving. By embracing both sides of any polarity, we open ourselves to a more complete and balanced approach to life's challenges and opportunities. Our journey then led us to the transformative possibility of transcending polarity altogether. This shift in consciousness, while challenging to our habitual ways of thinking, offers a profound liberation from the limitations of dualistic perception. By cultivating a more inclusive awareness, we can navigate life with greater wisdom, compassion, and effectiveness. Finally, we explored practical strategies for applying the law of polarity across various aspects of life, from personal development and relationships to professional endeavors and creative pursuits. These applications demonstrate the versatility and power of this principle as a tool for positive change and growth. As we conclude our exploration, it's important to remember that understanding and applying the law of polarity is an ongoing journey, not a destination. This principle invites us to continually question our assumptions, expand our perspectives, and open our hearts to the vast complexity and interconnectedness of existence. By embracing the law of polarity, we cultivate a more flexible, nuanced, and inclusive approach to life. We become better equipped to navigate the paradoxes and contradictions inherent in human experience, to find creative solutions to complex problems, and to foster greater harmony in our relationships and communities. Ultimately, the law of polarity offers us a pathway to a more expansive and fulfilling way of being in the world. It challenges us to grow beyond our limited self-conceptions and to recognize our fundamental interconnectedness with all of life. As we continue to explore and embody this principle, we may find ourselves living with greater authenticity, effectiveness, and joy. May this exploration of the law of polarity serve as a catalyst for your own journey of discovery and growth. As you apply these principles in your life, may you find new levels of balance, creativity, and wisdom, contributing to your own well-being and to the greater harmony of our shared world.